This is Paul with Equipped Expedition Outfitters, and today we're going to take a look at putting a new roof rack system on the cab of our Gen 3 Toyota Tundra. This model here that we have is a double cab, and the same system will work on a Mega Crew Max cab as well. So the trick of this one is that down under here, unlike the other trucks that we have in the Toyota line, there are no factory mounting points in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to create some mounting points, put down our mounting rail, and then put the rack on top of it. Let's see how it goes. What we've done here is I've taken this piece of pinch weld trim out, and I've removed it from the channel right here. And you can see that there aren't any mounting points in that roof line. None whatsoever. So I took that channel out, lifted it up out of the way, and I cleaned this whole channel out here. Back to this, and I lift that guy up just a little bit so you can see under there. You can see it's kind of dirty under there. Anyway, what we're going to do is we are going to create mounting points, and that's what this little guy here is for. Now, if you look at this on the side, that's a top hat. And what Eezi-Awn has done is they've put a riv nut or a threaded rivet into that top hat, and they have put on the bottom of here some high-grade 3M adhesive, and so with a couple holes in it right there. So what we're going to do is strategically locate these guys right down into that channel there, and then we're going to drill some holes and put the rivets into those holes there and tighten those in place. Now these are stainless rivets. These are incredibly strong rivets. They're going to do a great job. Eezi-Awn's been using this style of mounting for some time now, and it's worked out quite well. So to do that, what we've done is we've taken our mounting rail and we've put the top hats on the bottom of the mounting rail. You can see the bolt going down through there, and they're just holding those in place. You can see them there in different locations down here. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the adhesive backing off of these little plates here. We're going to take this rail and we're going to set it down inside here with that adhesive in place. We're going to hold it down in place and get those stuck where they're supposed to be down up and down this line. And then we'll take the threads out of this, back the threads out of the mounting rail, remove the mounting rail, and then drill our holes into the roof to attach more securely the locations of these mounting points. Now the trick to the matter is, if you look on our drill here, I've got a collar on there. It's a little crooked, but it'll work. And our goal is to drill here, but not too deep, because we've got all sorts of fun things going on underneath there that we do not want to drill in. Airbag systems, frame systems, lots of different things that we really don't want to penetrate too deep with. Our goal here is only to drill a hole big enough for us to stick that rivet through and set it into place to keep this in line. So that's why that collar's on there, is to limit the depth of what we're drilling here. So we're going to go ahead and move forward through those steps. See, I have that mounting rail now in position, and I've got all of those bolts in place here. We're holding it down. And one thing that I found while I'm putting this all together is that sometimes the mounting rail sits up a little proud when you put it in there and they don't stick down. So what I've done is I've loosened that bolt up a little bit, and then what I do is I push down on that bolt while it's in position there to center it and keep that bolt as the centering point, and forcing that little pad onto this interior floor of that pinch weld trim just by pushing this down. Notice there's a space in between the bolt head and the bottom of the rail, but what I'm doing is I'm forcing that piece to stick in place, so that when I do loosen these up and get these in place, when we lift that mounting rail out of the place, those are now stuck in position where they need to be for us to drill the holes. And I also want to show you here is that on this back one, what I did is I lifted that piece of trim up, and I left about, quarter inch, 5/16, something like that, forward of that clip. And the reason why is because if you look at the bottom of that clip, you can't really see it, but right there is a little bit of piece of plastic that needs to go in front of that little clip there. So I need some space right there to make that happen. The reason why I went that far back is the goal is to have the rack system as far back as possible for aerodynamics and wind flow to keep it as quiet as possible. We have the mounting points now in the roof, put into place in 4 locations. Now this is the double cab, so this one's going to have 4 locations. The crew max will have 5 locations. And what I found in my experimenting here is that the collar you want to use on your drill bit, you want to have that collar set a 1/2 inch up the drill bit, so that when it goes down, the collar will stop on the material of the top hat here, and will just barely pierce the roof lid. 1/2 inch collar spacing on there. The drill bit that I used was a 13/64, so just over 3/16. And that worked out well for the rivets. The rivets are strong as can be. They took a bit and made me sweat putting them in, but they work well. All of these mounts are now nice and snug in there. So our next step is to take our pinch weld trim and bring it back over here and cut it to the length to fit on each side of these mounts and fill in the spaces in between the threaded mounting holes. So all you will see is trim, top hat, trim, top hat, trim. Let's get going on that. So now what you're going to see here is that we've put this pinch weld trim back in. There's a little clip under here, and we came up here and I marked the trim right here, and I took a razor knife and I cut that trim right here. And what you have to do is you have to cut in, I do a cut across the top to make sure my line is straight. And then I cut vertically through the material for a ways and from each side, because if you look at the end of this material, right there, see that silver dot? That's a piece of metal in there, so you're not going to get a razor knife through that, but you can get 99% of everything there cut with a razor knife. And then what you do is you just twist the piece back and forth in your hands this way, and it'll break in half for you. And so what we did is we put a piece here, and now we've got our mounting point located here. And now we've put a piece in here, and we made a clear cut here. So then my next point is to put this piece in here, right here, and we're going to come up to our next mounting point, and right on that edge right here, I'm going to make another line across here and cut another piece and then put a final piece in the back. So here we go. We have our mounting pinch weld trim back in, our mounting point, piece of trim, mounting point, mounting point, and mounting point. And now we're going to lay our mounting rail over the top on all of that, which is really nice, because if you mess up somewhere along the way here and you got to do something, all of this is going to be covered up by the mounting rail anyway, so you got a little bit of a backup plan. But here we go. We're going to put this together. We'll do the other side, and we'll start on putting the rack on. So there you have it, guys. We have a rack on the cab of a double cab Tundra. And we got it all put together there. The hardest part was getting the mounting rail. The simple pieces are the 3 feet per side and putting the platform on top. Simple stuff. We've covered that in other videos. This is a 1400 millimeter wide by 1400 millimeter long. 55 by 55. It's got the wind deflector up towards the front. And we paired it with another rack on the mounting rail that we had in the back. That is a 1400 by 1800 rack on there. So now we've got 3.2 meters of rack coverage on top of our Tundra. I think it looks great. I hope you do too. If you have any questions, please give us a holler at equipped1.com. Thanks for your time.